like Trump has always been known, like before people was hating on him, like he would be at all the events with like Russell Simmons and all the black parties.
Yeah.
Like, he fuck with black women, like.
Yeah, black girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Publicly.
Like Trump has always been, that nigga was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep. He didn't have to do that.
But when he got political, that's when, people start putting the racist jacket on.
It's all propaganda.
I honestly don't think he's racist. I think he's Trumpist.
Here's the thing. If Trump was racist, right? Let's say he was pandering just to get the vote.
Yeah.
Right? Why is he still doing shit for black people right now? He could have been like, yo, fuck y'all. I got your vote. I don't give a fuck about y'all. I'm already in office. I can't run another 4 years. I already did 4 years.
I think it's real dope, the lady he made the pardons on.
Yes.
The entire car ride with Nick Cannon and Amber Rose is an embodiment of thinking deeply about shallow shit and then drowning in your own understanding. The entire car ride. And I know you thought you was hella clever and that you really ate when you said he's not a racist, he's a Trumpist. But let me ask you this though. Since when did being a racist mean you can't love black culture but hate black people? Since when? I would even argue that racism is the literal commodification of black culture and how you separate it from black humanity. But let's talk policy though. Here's a report that say black women were disproportionately sidelined in his 1 year of his second term, the first year. He dated black women. Listen, bro, I know what it means to fight for your life because you're trying to prove you date black women, but that's not the way you do it, right? Listen, according to this report, black women lost a net total of 113,000 jobs between January and December. Facts over feelings. It's not how I feel. This is the first year he was in office. At the height of the summer vitality, black women were accounting for 54.7% of all female job loss, despite making up only 14% of the female workforce. And listen, when I say thinking deeply about shallow shit, I'm talking about how y'all logic is the same thing as these folks y'all supporting. Now listen, they say DEI stands for didn't earn it, meaning everybody that's in these positions, they are products of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But see, the numbers show that white women were the ones that benefited the most from DEI. But you see the numbers right there? Who lost the most when he had to go after DEI? Black women. Let's talk more policy though. Did y'all know that since he's been in office, he wants to dismantle public education? Do you know how black people will be disproportionately impacted when this happened? How is this happening right now? I'm seeing multiple reports. Public education under threat. 4 administration actions to watch, and this was last year.
4 years. I already did 4 years.
I think it's real dope, the lady he made the pardons on.
Yes.
He made her he pardoned her and then made her the pardon czar to make sure that anybody who is actually been done wrong by the system, that he appointed her to be able to be like, look, you go out there and find these people for me so I can pardon them.
You know why I love Trump?
I fucked with that.
Trump made me have love for my country. Because when you go around all the Republicans, they're black, they're white, they're Asian, they're Hispanic, and they don't even talk about race, Nick. They talk about being American. You feel so safe in that environment. You can look online, black Republicans, they talk about this all the time. Because people make it seem like because you're a black Republican that they don't even fuck with you.
Right.
You feel so safe and welcomed in those spaces because they're not looking at you like you're black. They're not.
Then you got a bald head ass Amber Rose that was able to make a whole bunch of different political capital with black folks because she was talking about reproductive justice and reproductive freedom with the slut walk. Now she's turned a reform Republican and she's bumped her head and now her logic sounds like that of a white patriarch. How in the hell is you supporting a man that is pushing laws, taking away all ways that black women are able to say they have rights for their body? And then listen, you was one of the ones that's also pushing them gay agenda propaganda things and you ain't say nothing about the Epstein files and you ain't say nothing about it in the car ride? You telling on yourself? Let me say this part being very clear. You can criticize the Democratic plantation without sensationalizing the Republican one. Thinking liberalism is good as well as democratic policies, but you do not have to glaze or push Republican propaganda to do that. A lot of y'all like to talk about how the Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan. When you go to a rally today, where are you most likely to see a Ku Klux Klan flag at? The Democratic rally or the Republican one? So let's go back to some cultural, social implications. If he's able to be endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan in 2016, 2020, and 2024, what does this say about his politics and how he deploys them? And also what it say about y'all's? Notice I'm providing receipts for every claim I'm making. Trump says Confederate flag is a proud symbol of the U.S. South. As somebody that's also proud of being a Southerner, I ain't never had a Confederate flag around me. And my question to you, Nick Cannon, how in the hell did you go from being a Pan-Africanist to aligning yourself with Confederate flag-toting, white supremacist sympathizing politicians and politics? Public policy. Now, we talked about how white women benefited the most from DEI, right? Federal DEI funding cuts threaten the work of a few remaining black farmers in East Texas. I told you I was Southerner in Texas, right? So why are you aligning yourself with the farmers in my state that are having their funds taken away from them in the name of white Christian nationalism? Nick Cannon, listen, man. I know you love them women that be from the Caribbean islands, you know what I'm saying? The Dominicans, you know what I'm saying? Talking about the Cubans, all this. How do you feel about those communities right now being terrorized by a whole bunch of mass deportation agenda policies that Trump is passing? How do you faction that in with how he's so good for black people? Which takes me to another thing. When you cherry pick those examples of the woman that he pardoned and said that's the reason why you think he's good for black people, that spoke volumes of your politics, because it shows you that if you can think that he saves individual black folks, even at the expense of harming the collective, he's good with you, huh? If your pocket's good and your family good, never mind all the black families being terrorized, losing their jobs, losing access to schools, because he's good with you. And I said I'm providing receipts, right, for everything. Well, talk about that big, beautiful bill he was bragging about. He really was bragging about it, too. Let's read it together, shall we? It says that bill left black communities more vulnerable to predatory lending, that his job policies may deepen workplace inequality, and that his house policies failed to narrow the racial home ownership gap. He's also criminalizing black history.
Looking at you like
They
you're
just looking like
Hispanic.
you one of us.
You one of us.
Squad, gang, gang.
You gang. You an American, you gang.
Yeah.
So there's a level of comfort and freedom in that. You're amongst your peers. That's why I said in my RNC speech, I was like, these are my people. This is where I belong.
Right.
And you know, black Twitter and black Instagram, they took it the wrong way.
The great Malcolm X said, white folks don't pick the entertainers, the trumpet players, the comedians to be the leaders in their community. And what you just showing right there is that all of those entertainers that Trump was rubbing office with and bumping elbows with back in the 90s, they had the same politics of him probably. And I imagine they are all secret in the closet Trump supporters, I imagine. He fuck with Russell Simmons. Yeah, that track right. All they show is that a lot of the creepy predators, they all stick together regardless of their race, huh? Because where's Russell Simmons? I'm surprised he wasn't in the Epstein files. That wasn't a good flex for you to bring up anyway. As much as we didn't hear it, they may want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues. How in the hell is y'all equating them to being around people that create the rhythm in black culture as them loving or caring about the black people that experience the blues or about the blues itself, especially when they contribute to it politically, socially, economically? What the hell is y'all saying? This entire car ride was nothing but y'all pushing propaganda because y'all done been around these folks, probably drinking champagne and bumping tea crumpets or whatever.
Fuck with black women, like.
Yeah, black girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Publicly.
Like Trump has always been. That nigga was on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yep. He didn't have to do that.
And there was two parts that pissed me off right there. The first, why are you sensationalizing how he had a public black girlfriend now that he done passed all these horrible policies that harms them both publicly and privately? And the second thing is this. Oh, he didn't have to do that. Y'all sound like some ungrateful Negroes because he didn't have to bless us with his presence by being on Fresh Prince of Bel Air, even though it was one of the hottest shows in the 90s and it benefited him. Hear that? And let me say this to the people in the back. When you already align yourself with these folks on an ideological level, with their values and morals, you trying to sensationalize your skin color, it don't mean shit. You feel me? It was a whole bunch of enslaved folks that also aligned themselves with the people that ran the plantation from an ideological value level. They make me feel at home. They don't even trip. They like family. It's gang. Yeah, we see you. That sound crazy. Get out. Somebody got the lights?